Hello. How is everybody this evening? My name is Michaela from Paint Fixation, and I'm in Middleburg, Florida. Excuse me. If you're new to my page, welcome. When you come on, please say hi. Before we get started, I just want to let you know we are going to be doing some Gator Hide, and I'm going to be using a new applicator technique that I got from AJ from AJ's Vintage Designs, and I want to try it. And so I have this nice surface to use it on, so I'm going to do it here. And then we're going to add some black wax to the other side of this thing. And if we have time, I might do a little bit of Dixie dirt. We'll see. But just one moment. I'm going to put my link in the comments. Hey, Melissa. Hey, girl. I'm going to put my link in the comments so that y'all can see where to get any products that I have tonight that I'm using if you're not local. Let me see, is that on there? Yeah. So if you're local, I have all of the paint products at Antiques for You on Blanding Boulevard. And also I have the more popular products, but I'm not premiere there yet, is at Junk in the Trunk in Fleming Island. That will change soon. I'm hoping to go premiere there very soon. Let me pull me up on here so that I can read your comments. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm not on here. Hang on. So the last time I was live, we lost, I don't know what happened. Everything just didn't go right. And then when I went back live, on my personal page. So I was so confused and flustered. And it's still not showing up. Okay, here it is. All right. Here we go. Okay. Hello, Aunt Kate. Hey, Krista. Okay, so we're here. We are ready to go. I think I've posted it twice. It doesn't matter. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm going to Gator Hide the top of this, but instead of using my oval medium or the blue sponge, I am going to try it with the applicator pads. Now, I got this idea from AJ, and she's amazing, so I know I can't go wrong. So these pads are, hi honey, my husband's on. So these pads are Dixie Belle's applicator pads, okay? These things are amazing for everything. As you can see, I've been using a lot of them this week. So I've been using them for the waxes. These need to be washed, and I'm hoping that they work good after I wash them because I'm pretty frugal. I think I can get them to come clean enough to use them again, because when you're using them for wax, once it gets too much wax build up, it starts to put it back on the piece. So you have to go to a clean one. Okay, hey Debbie, hey, I'm glad you guys are here. That last live we did was a mess, and then I lost all of you guys because you're not on my profile page. So I had to, my personal profile, so I had to share it to this page, and then I don't know if anybody even saw it. It was a mess. Okay, so I'm going to be using the applicator pad. I'm kind of excited about this to see how it turns out. And since this is nice and long, I think it'll work out good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this piece, the top, and then wipe it down and let it dry while I put some, hi Cindy, hey honey, hey honey to my husband. And so then I put some black wax on this, and I wasn't sure I was going to. So this is the side of it, and I'll show you the front just a minute. I'm going to clean this for you. Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to sand it down a little bit with my rad pad. This one is a very fine one, and I've used it already once today. So it's got some blue on it. So this is Stormy Seas and Savannah Mist, for those of you that didn't see the live the other day. But when I paint, I always sand a little bit in between all of my coats, just so that any bits, hairs, any bits and pieces that get in the paint get knocked down, especially if I'm using Boss, which I did use on this piece, or Slick Stick, because they're white. Well, there is a clear Boss, but on this one I use the white. So when you're using Slick Stick or Boss, if you don't sand after you paint the first coat, and then you get to your last coat and you sand and you have any bits from the Boss or the Slick Stick, you're going to have little white dots, and it's just no fun to have to go back and pick them out. So I always sand between my coats, and I'm going to show you how nice and, I don't know if you can hear this, but you'll be able to hear a difference as I go. I always go with the grain, but you're going to be able to hear as it knocks down. Okay, so I'm going to do this side here. You hear how it's starting to quiet down? Now I'm going to come here. You hear the difference? Okay, so we have that. Isn't that cool? I'm such a tactile person. So if you come on and you have any questions, just ask, because I am happy to answer any questions. If you're catching me on the replay, still leave your questions and I'll come back and answer them. With a new Facebook, there's a new Facebook that's going on here. You may need to tag me in order for me to see it. I know that we were having trouble with the replay, the replay comments. So you might want to tag the business page. But I do try and go back for the few days after a live and check to see if there are any messages, because I don't always get notifications when I get them. I don't know why. So this is my last coat, of course, because I'm going to be putting the Gator Hide on here. So I just want to get everything knocked down. I'm going to feel it, make sure there's no knobbies or anything. Now you can see little, I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, there's little white areas, but this is just because these are little wormholes grabbing the dust, but that's going to go away in just a second. I'm just checking for comments. Okay, so I'm going to take my shop towel, and I'm just going to wipe it down first and try and get as much of the dust off as I can. Okay. And then I'm going to wet it a little bit. I'm going to turn this inside out. I'm going to wet it a little bit so that I'm really sure I got it all off there, because I don't want any of that in my, where's my spray bottle? Hang on. I don't want any of that in my spray bottle or in my Gator Hide. So I'm going to wet it down. I'm going to wipe it back. And then I'm going to let it sit while we do our wax, because I don't want it to be wet when I Gator Hide it. You want it to be very dry. And then I'm going to be black. I'm going to put black wax on the top of this too. But I probably won't get to that until tomorrow. Okay. So this is as smooth as butter. Now, you guys know that, why does your husband wants to why does everything need to be touched? Because you gotta feel, it's like you gotta feel to see. So, if you don't know, or if you're new to Dixie Belle paint does not need to be sealed. That is one thing that you do need to know. I could leave this just like this, and then after it cures, it's as hard as a rock. Not everybody likes the texture of the chalkier finish, but I do like, so this is my first piece that I'm sealing with the Easy Peasy. I'm not going to seal this with the top coat. I'm going to use the Easy Peasy. But I always do Gator Hide, especially on something like this that I know there's going to be a lot of stuff being put on here just for extra protection. But when I paint stuff that's outside, I don't seal it. I don't seal it. It just does so good. Now I'll show you the front. I've got the handles done. I was gonna do these live last night, but my son called me. If y'all saw my note, and I talked to him for a couple hours. So this is the front, and these are the handles, the original handles to this piece. And what I did, let me see if I can get this closer. And I'll bring y'all down just until because we're not going to be. Okay. Hang on. Okay, So what I did was, these were brass. You can kind of see on the back, well, you may not be able to see, but they're very heavy duty brass. And I forgot to take before and afters, of course. So I used the black gilding wax first, and then I added actually didn't use the Dixie Belle silver because I wanted to try, what is it? I wanted to try the Art Alchemy brushed iron because it's not as shiny. Let me show it to you. Okay, that's it. But Dixie Belle, and I can say this with authority, we are going to be getting some new gilding waxes. They're going to be so good and so well. So they have so many pretty colors. So I love to do my hardware with the gilding waxes because they're oil-based. They stick really, really well. It doesn't come off. It's very hard wearing, durable. And so what I did was I used the black, then I put some of the silver on top of that, and then I went back with a little bit of black. And as you can see, some of the gold is also peeking through. So we have a lot of dimension in the handles. And I just really like the way that they turned out. I think they look great, in my opinion. So this is the other side. So I have already added some black wax to this, but I wanted it a little heavier, the way I did the other side. So I'm going to do this with you guys. I'm going to show you how I do it. And let me get one of these that's not totally awful. Thank you, Debbie. I like them too. I think they look good too. So I'm going to use the Dixie Belle Best Stain Wax in black. Okay. For anybody who is not familiar with the Dixie Belle wax, it is water-based. So wax is always last, does not apply to Dixie Belle wax. Okay. So I can put this black wax on this whole piece like I've done. And if it were mine in the future and I decided to repaint it, I could paint right over the top of it. No mineral spirits, no taking it off. Just paint over the top of it as long as it's dry. Okay, if you take a cloth and you wipe it back and nothing comes off on your cloth, you're good to go. Okay, usually 3 to 5 days. All right, so I'm going to use my Dixie Belle French tip. I love using this one for wax because it's a really good quality brush, even though it's at a good price point. It's like, I think they're like $9 or something like that. But I love them for wax because it has, the bristles are not pointy, but they're all different lengths. It holds the wax really well, and I can actually really work it into the paint. And I haven't had any bristles, not a single bristle fall out of this. Of course, there will be one tonight because I said that, but until now, I haven't had one fall out. That's just what happens. So I'm not going to use this just yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my wax onto my brush. Okay. And then I'm just going to rub it into my lid just to work it into the brush. Okay. Just so that we get it worked in there. And I already have some black wax on here, but I'm going to bring it out a little bit. And then I'm going to bring it down. Because I wanted to have some come into the middle of this. Now, I didn't tell you this. I have put Easy Peasy wax on this, okay? It doesn't make it as easy to manipulate as a top coat would. So if I had put a satin or even flat or Gator Hide on here first, I would be able to pull the wax back a lot easier, but I wanted to make it look dirty. Okay, I want it to grab the paint. I want it to grab the wax more than if it had a top coat on here. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute, though, how I can erase what I don't want. Okay, and as you're doing it, you get less and less wax, and so you can just continue to come back with it, like, or come down with it, and it'll just slowly feather in. Okay, so you'll get less and less, and you can leave it out as far as you want. You know, it's all according to how you want your piece to look. If you want it to look darker or lighter. Now I'm going to come around here and do this side. Can y'all see okay? I didn't even think to change this. So I'm going to put some more wax on my brush. Again, if any of y'all have questions, please ask. Okay, and I'm just going to work it in here. Now, I did pull back a lot of wax on the other side, but I'm thinking I might add some of the Dixie dirt. I like how Dixie dirt is a soft look, and it's just another layer of color that you can add to your piece to give it a little bit more character. So I might do some of that with y'all. And I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. And I'm pressing down pretty hard because I don't have a whole lot on my brush. So I'm really working it into the paint because I am going to be pulling it back. You know, so you don't have to be afraid of using too much because you can, I'm going to use the Easy Peasy wax to erase it, but you can also use your Best Dang wax. I like to use Easy Peasy wax. Yeah, it's like a mouthful. I like to use the Easy Peasy wax because I feel like I have, it's not as thick, and I just feel like I have a little bit more control. I can just spray a little bit on my rag or my pad or whatever I'm using to erase it. A lot of people use the clear wax, which is perfectly fine. That works too. And I could have used the clear wax on here first as well instead of the Easy Peasy wax. But again, I'm a lover of the Easy Peasy wax. I love it. It's just so easy to use. It cures so quickly. It cures in 6 hours. Dries in 30 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, this is very dark. And I am going to get this applicator pad has been used today, but it's not too bad. It's still not too bad, so I think it'll be okay. This is the Easy Peasy spray wax. Okay, it's a dry matte finish. It's a nice smooth finish. I have it on here. It's so nice and smooth. The thing about this is you want to shake it up until you can't hear it shaking anymore. You hear that? See how it went completely silent? Okay, that's ready to go. All that wax goes into the bottom, so you need to get it all mixed up. So I'm going to spray it on here, and I'm just going to start bringing this back. And see how, look at that. See how it just erases it? And then I'm going to just take the back side of this and kind of roll this in. But you see that and how easy that was? And so you can go back as far as you want. And if you pull back too much, let's just say I wanted less, I wanted more on here. You can just come in here and just pull it back in. Like that. And I think I'm liking that right there. That's perfect. Just a little bit of a shadow. So here, I'm going to come back down. Where's my bottle? Now, with the Easy Peasy wax, I always shake it every time I pick it up. Okay? I learned that from AJ. It's a good habit to get into because if you set it down and you're painting and you forget you haven't shook it and you go to use it, you're going to miss all that good wax at the bottom of it. It's going to be in there at the bottom, and it's not going to do any good being at the bottom of the container. It's going to be too thick when it comes out. You won't have any, you'll be using up all your wax and none of your water in there. There we go. Okay, and then I'll just take this back side and I'm just going to move this in. And see this line here, this is where it's wet. I'm going to come back and I'll use a clean rag and I'll wipe that down, okay? Until I get the look I want. And so I'm liking that. So I've left a lot of it on here. I've got some in the cracks, and now I'm going to work up here. So I'm going to take my wax again. And see how I'm pulling it off this paint, but it's still the paint, because there's no top coat on here, the paint really grabs onto the wax, and it gives you that dirty, grungy look. Now, if you wanted a cleaner look and you didn't want your wax to stay on your flat parts of your paint, you would want to use a top coat, put your wax on, pull it back, and then it's going to stay in all the recessed areas. But for this piece, I just wanted it to be darker. I wanted the paint to be darker. So, again, it's all personal preference, however you like to do it. Hi, Andrea. Hello. Okay, so I'm just going to do it right here. Can you see this? Yeah. I'm just going to pull it back. And then I'm going to do this right here. And it's that easy, guys. Okay. I think that's almost dry. So as you can see, some of these areas are a little dark from the wax coming off from the rag. So I'm just going to grab a shop towel. And I'm going to spray a little bit of the wax on here. And I'm just going to go over this area here and just clean it up. And as that dries, it'll be clear. And you can see there's hardly any on the rag at all. There's just that little bit of black that's gotten a little bit farther out than I want it to be. So I'm just going to clean this up. Just like that. I'm just rubbing some areas that I got a little bit too dark. Okay, so now I have this nice shadow here. I want this side to be, you know, pretty much not exactly the same, but we want it to be shadowed in. So I'm just going to take, I'm not going to add any wax to this now. I don't wash my wax brushes, okay? I have a wax brush for every color. So I don't wash brushes. They don't need to be washed. That way I always have one ready. I use one like this for details. This is my other one that I use, the little chip brush that I cut down. And you can use this to get up in the cracks. But for this I wanted a softer look, and so I'm using the fluffier brush. And I've got, let's see, a little bit right there that I want to pull back. And I also sanded this before putting on the Easy Peasy wax to begin with. So it's already been sanded. Okay. So I'm liking this. I didn't use it quite as heavy over on the other side. So instead of going down there, I'm going to do the other side really quick, and then we'll do the Gator Hide on Okay, so because this one's already pretty much done the way the other one was, I'm just going to use my brush. I'm not going to add anything else to it. And I'm just going to feather in a little bit here, just to give a little bit more of a shadow, like I did on the other side. And it's that easy. See that? I haven't even added any, I only added the wax twice for the other side. And that's it. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing at the bottom. But I want to show y'all the Gator Hide on the top. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, hi Amy. Hello, hello. Hey, Amy, I'm going to try the Gator Hide with the applicator pad. Amy's on here now. She's a brand ambassador. And she's the one I got this idea from. I got to grab a strainer just 1 minute. I forgot to get it out. What did I do with them? anytime I use my Gator Hide, and y'all have seen this, the ones that follow me know, anytime I do Gator Hide, I always strain it first, and these are the strainers that I use. And today I'm going to put it in a foam plate because I'm using this applicator pad, and it's real wide. I'm going to bring y'all up here. All right, wish me luck. This is the first time I've used one on here. Let's see. I think I will do it this way. That way y'all can see. All right, we'll see. Amy says, yippee. I don't know about that yet. We'll see. No yippies yet. All right, let me get my Gator Hide and my stick. Remember, you stir, don't shake your top coats. Okay, guys? Stir, don't shake. Because if you shake them, you're going to get bubbles. And if you are spraying and you shake your top coat, you're going to be really sorry you did that. When you get that bubble coming through your sprayer, you're going to really wish you didn't do it. So I've got my paint stick, and I'm getting down in the bottom of the thing. This is my Gator Hide. I keep forgetting I have a lot of new followers, so I don't know who's on here. But I always make sure, because the containers are kind of indented on the bottom, I always make sure I get in the cracks, especially when I'm down this low. I want to make sure that all the good part of the product is stirred up. Okay, and this is the consistency of Gator Hide. Okay, let's see, let me put it up against it. Can y'all see that? See that? It's very liquidy. Okay. So I have my strainer. The reason I strain, and not everybody does this, but it's become a habit of mine, and it's worked for me. If you see the edge of this container, I don't have a bottle that I put them in. I am going to try the ones that Amy uses, the squirt bottles, but for now, this is what I have. So those little flakes can get into my Gator Hide when I'm using it. And so I strain it every time I use it. And that way I know, and I probably put too much in here. I'm going to put it back on there. Okay, here we go. Brand new one, right out of the bag. Okay, I'm going to try it. So I know I'm going to have to use more than I usually do. All right, so I have to go that way. Okay. Oh. I'm overlapping just a little bit because I'm working pretty quickly. So far, it looks pretty good. How am I doing, Amy? I don't know if she's still on. I'm going to come around this way. I probably actually could have used a little bit more of this. It does set up quite a bit. Now I missed right there, but I'm going to not go back. I try never to go, okay, I have a drip. I'm just going to go across here like this. Okay. So when I do Gator Hide, I try to just be patient and not get back over it, because it can leave drag marks. And so I missed an area over here. I'll grab that on my second pass. Amy's doing good. So, okay, Amy, question. Before I do my second coat, what do you do with, do you use the other side of your pad, or do you put this in a bag for your second pass, or do you rinse it out now and then tell me how you do your second coat with your applicator pad. So we're learning tonight, guys. I'm glad Amy popped in. All right, so I didn't use all of my Gator Hide. There's very, very little left on here. I think it's better to use less and then put more on here so we don't waste. I don't like to waste product at all. I would say this used not really that much more than a blue sponge would. And it looks pretty good. I mean, of course it's wet, but I'm kind of digging it. And I'm thinking that I think on the second coat, this is going to be a really nice finish. I like to do 3 coats, so she uses warm. Okay. All right, so that's what I'll do. I'm going to put this in a bag real quick while we're on camera, while I'm sitting here with you guys, just so it doesn't get hard. And then I will wash it with warm water. So, Amy, how do you wash your waxy ones? Do you throw them in? I was thinking of putting them in a pillowcase and washing them, but then I thought maybe I'll just wash them out by hand in the sink. How do you do yours? Anyway, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing? I think I'm really going to like this. I've got a little piece of something right there, but I can sand that out. That's the nice thing about it, is I can sand out what is in here, because I always sand in between coats of Gator Hide. And we've got our wax on. I think we're good, guys. This was kind of a quick live tonight. What time is it? 7:30. Not too bad. Wash the wax ones in the sink. Okay, so that's what I do. So these pads all have wax on them, the black wax from doing this and the Easy Peasy. So I will be washing these in the sink tonight with my brushes that I used today. Again, this is Savannah Mist and Stormy Seas, and I will be adding black wax to the top, just a little bit in the corners, probably just a shadow here and there. And this is the front that we did. If y'all didn't see the video, let me bring it down. If you didn't see the video the other night that I put on my wrong page, I showed you here. I showed you how I got this cloudy effect on here with the 2 colors. So the whole piece is just Savannah Mist, Stormy Seas, and black wax. So Amy says she uses scrubby soap. Ooh, yeah, I've got scrubby soap. It's one of my favorite products. It's one of those products that I had that I wasn't sure how great it could possibly be, and it's like one of my favorite things. And I purchase myself 1 or 2 every time I order. I love them. But so if you guys didn't catch the video a few days ago on how I got this cloudy look, this is a really, really, I did this technique because I started to do a blend, which y'all seen 100 times, with the corners and with the 2 colors. And I decided I wanted to try something different. So I painted over it, and then I decided I do this technique on canvas a lot when I'm doing a background for something. And I just, you know, do the 2 colors, I mix them in. And for this one, I used a 2.5-inch Pinelli. Let me grab it. Because if you're, so I bought these brushes from Paint Pixie because I can't get brushes right now from Dixie Belle. So I wanted to try them myself before I put them on my website. I do have some of these Antiques for You if you're local. But I really like them. They have a good price point. They're a little less expensive. I will always say forever and ever that my minis and my mini angle and my oval medium from Dixie Belle are by far my favorite brushes. I've always been kind of a paintbrush snob, even years and years ago when I was painting just walls. I always try to buy the most expensive quality brush that I could afford at the time. Sometimes that was $10, sometimes that was $30. But to me, you know, the old saying, you get what you pay for, is so true. But these brushes are a very close second. I did all of the blending on the front of this piece with my Pinelli. This is this one is synthetic. It looks natural, but it's not. Okay, this is a synthetic brush. This is their little Frenchie. Okay, if you see the difference between that one and our French tip. So ours is rounded. Okay, this is Dixie Belle's. They're both made in Italy. And this one is the little Frenchie. This one is a hybrid. It's got synthetic and natural bristles in it. I love this brush. I've really been impressed with it. I love how it's pointed. I did all of the edges on this. I actually also did my last piece that I did, the red and the black, the rustic red with the caviar. I did all of my blending with this brush. I really dig it. I don't know if it's because it's a hybrid, but it's got a little bit of give to it, but it's still stiff enough that I have control. Okay, this one is very stiff because it's natural bristles. I don't know if y'all can tell the difference. This one's a little softer, and this one's a much coarser brush. This is excellent for wax. So far, these are the two I've used. Okay, and let me show you this other big daddy I've got. I don't know if any of y'all have ever used this. Okay, so this is the Buff. The Buff. This is also a Paint Pixie brush. This is a, hi Jane, hi. This is a wax buffing brush. I got this because I'm going to be doing an RV. I'm doing the cushions, the whole RV, all the fabric. And I was going to do that live last night, but the lady's having trouble with the RV repairman. So she's out of town. She lives out of town, so she's going to try and get it to me the 1st of next week. So we're going to be doing a live on fabric painting, and I got this to try and get more surface area done because it's going to be a big job. This is my daughter came over here to pick this brush up, and she was like, her fingers went through it. It's a very soft brush. It's also, I believe, a hybrid. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this one's a hybrid too. So it has synthetic and natural bristles in it. And it has, the bristles are all different lengths. So I'm very excited about it. I'm not a huge wax person, but I'm starting to get more into the waxes. In fact, I did this. Ooh, I've got another custom I'm doing. And so this is the look she's doing. This is just straight Savannah Mist and black wax. This is what we're doing. This doesn't have a top coat on it yet. This is going to have a sheen to it when I'm done. But I did buff it with that buffer. And can you see the sheen a little bit there? So there's the sheen. So it does have, I practiced with the buff, and it does have a sheen to it, but she wants a little bit more gloss to this. So we are going to, yes, Amy, it's the buff. That's the name of it, the buff. And then I also got this one. It's like Christmas here this week. So I got this one too. Okay, this is a narrow one. This one's called the Caddy. C-A-D-D-I-E. And on the website, this one says it's really good for blending paint and softening paint strokes. I have not used it yet, but I feel like this might have been a good contender. The only thing I would be concerned about is the width of it. It might be better for larger surfaces. This might go in my shop. I haven't decided yet if I will be using this brush or not. We'll see. But I got, and then Amy, have you ever used the Paint Pixie brushes? This is the, it's a flat top. I have it here. I'll just take it out of the package. Okay. So it's flat on top. This is also a hybrid. So this feels very similar to the little Frenchie. Okay. But it's flat. So I haven't quite decided yet what this is for, but I have heard people love this brush. So I'm sure there's something that I can do with it. I've got several of these. I will have some of these at Antiques for You. I will have these at Antiques for You. This is the Believe Oval 12, and I also got an 18, which is a little bit bigger. Here, I'll open this one up too. People need to be able to feel these, right? That's why I need to take all of the plastic off all my brushes because I know if I were shopping, I would want to. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so this is another one. This is a hybrid. It's an oval. It's not as flat as the Dixie Belle oval. I think the Dixie Belle's a little bit flatter than this. So you have I have the Dusty too, but this is the Dusty that Amy is talking about. The only problem that I had with this one, I did use this one on the black and red piece, but because this is so short, and that's a kind of a worry I have with this one, although I can grip this one. With this one, I can't grip it, and so I have had surgery to both of my hands. I had really bad carpal tunnel syndrome. I was an x-ray tech for a few years, and of course painted my house 100 times. So I've had carpal tunnel surgery, and both my hands are 10 years apart, and I think that's why this brush bothers me. So I loved the way it worked. It blended really nicely, but I got very fatigued. So if you have weak wrists or hands, I am not sure this is the brush for you. But I'm not gonna give up on it. I'm gonna try it again. If it turns out I can't use it, I will gift it to another artist that can use it, because I'm not gonna waste it. You know, it's a good brush. I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use it. Maybe this one will work better for me, because I can see this one's just flat. You see that? So I think it might be that my fingers are too close together and I'm working it like this. Whereas with this one, I'm going to have, it's a little bit of a, you see, I even have a cyst on my wrist too. See it? Ugh. It's actually, this cyst used to be the size of, I mean, like about half the size of a golf ball. It's huge, but it's starting to go down now. But anyway, I wasn't really planning on showing you the brushes tonight, but since we were chatting, but if I'm still working with this one. I've used this with Boss, which I really liked this one with Boss. I don't know why. I haven't tried it with just plain paint yet. I did blend with it, which it did beautifully. And I'm not sure if it's just the way the bristles on the end are, but this one really did blend nice. Okay, so maybe Amy says that one of the other retailers, Diane from Vintage Warehouse, she uses the Dusty to blend the colors together, but not a full blend. So maybe that will work for me if I'm just blending the colors together and not doing too much back and forth motion. Let me check out my Gator Hide before I let y'all go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. It's still damp. I can just see, I only missed really one area over here. I'll turn it real quick before we go. There's a little space right here too. But you see the sheen in the light? But when I bring it up, you'll probably be able to see. I don't think I have streaks like I do usually. And it feels nice. I missed here, and here. But what I'll do, and I'll show you with not a clean one, but not a wet one. So when I started this before I started here, just like when I do it with my brush, when I do my second coat, I always overlap them by like a third. So I'll probably start it here. So I'll start it kind of in the middle, and then I'll come back at the end and do this end here. And that way I'm overlapping my centers of each stroke. And that gives me a much fuller coverage. And then afterwards, I'll buff it. Well, I will sand this a little bit before I do the second coat, because I have a few little things in here that don't need to be in there. But, so I'll buff it just a little bit. I mean, not buff it, but I'll give it a very, very, very light sanding before I put the second coat on, just because I do have some fuzzies in there. But overall, it's not bad at all. Not bad. Okay, so if nobody has any questions, I'm going to let you go for the night. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be starting a new custom tomorrow, but I'm not sure I'll go live with that piece. I actually want to do some crafts, so maybe you guys can join me for that if you want. All right, so you guys have a really nice evening. God bless you, and thank you so much for joining me every night that I come on here. I actually got over 2,000 followers now, just kind of like all of a sudden, and that was kind of exciting. So what I'm going to do because of that, I forgot to tell y'all this. So because I'm getting some new followers that are quiet, they don't say anything when they're on, and I don't know what their knowledge is of the products. I'm going to start a series, not my Wednesday night lives, but on other nights. I'm going to do a series starting with just the paint, and I'm going to explain our products one at a time. So for people that are new, I'm going to label them, and I'm going to put them all together in an album so that it'll be like, we'll start with just probably paint, and then we'll start with the prep products and that kind of thing. So there'll be probably shorter videos, but there'll be informational videos so that people can come to my page if they have a question about how a product should be used or whatever. They'll be just, I won't be using the products, I'll just be discussing the products. So if y'all are questioning products, just kind of catch those lives as they come. I'm still working on figuring out how to do events for lives and all that stuff. But once I get all that figured out, I'll put them on there and label them, and I'll try and get them labeled out for each night that I'll be on for those. So you guys have a good night now. God bless, and I'll see you later. Bye.